with such great success, why would you, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, as the saying goes, because they've created some stellar saber battles, just pure animation style. But to bring in Ray Park, who, of course, as Maul from the Phantom Menace, and of course Solo, but to bring him in, put him in a motion capture suit, and have him fight it out with Lauren Mary Kim, who was there in a motion capture suit for Ahsoka. I mean, it changes the entire feel of the fight. This, and I'll say, to me, this felt more like a real life saber fight that we saw, like in the movies, than the fights we saw in other episodes of the Clone Wars or even Rebels at that point. Um, and I enjoyed that. It's almost like they saved everything for this one big push, and now that they've done it, I want them to keep doing it. All their lightsaber fights need to be motion captured.
Right. Well, I remember watching, the gosh, seeing Dave Filoni interviewed after the Maul pre-Vizsla fight in season 5, there in the Mandalorian throne room, was incredible. And I remember Dave Filoni smiling and laughing. He says, "And just think, we have something even better in store in the next episode," which ended up being Darth Sidious coming to Mandalore and taking on Savage Opress and Darth Maul, and that even topped, to a certain degree, the Maul versus Pre-Vizsla battle, which was incredible. And so then, to see this one is just amazing. Like I said, I watched the video tonight. Like you said, seeing Ray Park in that motion capture. One of the things I thought about as I was watching, it was funny because I hadn't gotten to the credits yet, and I didn't know that at the end of, there on the voices, you and I always look and see who does all the voices and stuff. They put a thing there saying, Ray Park used for motion, and then, like you said, Lauren Mary Kim for Ahsoka. And I said, that's funny because when I watched the battle, if you look at Maul's footwork, right, not only do I remember that footwork from 1999, The Phantom Menace, and seeing, a young Ray Park play Darth Maul, but you and I have both gone to Star Wars weekends, and I don't know how many years straight I saw Ray Park on stage with James Arnold Taylor going through the show called A Visit to the Mall,
Yeah.
Maul, right?
Yep.
And watching Ray up there do all kinds of sword work, footwork. Um, I've watched him a lot, over the years, and so I'm so used to seeing him and his footwork that when I saw it, I'm like, wow, they really kind of, that's looking like Ray more than say Maul in like that battle against Pre Vizsla or Darth Sidious. And so then at the very end, when I saw that, I'm like, oh, that is beyond cool. So they did model it on Ray Park. And so, yeah, just I'd encourage people to watch it again and just watch when he does the double swing down on Ahsoka. You'll see the classic Ray Park, kind of the way he holds his feet and stuff. But I just loved it. I mean, and like you said, I want I want it to all be Ray Park. Um, this is why we want Solo 2 to happen, right? There's Ray Park in makeup. Get Sam Witwer to do the voice, and here comes. We're not going to need motion capture. Here's Ray Park in in full makeup, and here we go.
Exactly. It's exactly what we need.
Yes.
'Cause we need, there's so much out there that we want to see, and they just set us up. They tell us these great stories, and we just want more. We're starving for more, especially now that we're locked in our houses 24 hours a day. Give me more. Oh, this is this. I got this saber fight definitely goes down, and I think once it's all said and done, if we sit back and look, this will go down as one of the best saber fights in Star Wars.
Oh yeah, yeah, and in two parts. First in
Yeah,
the throne room, and then up on
in the rafters.
yeah, in the rafters there
Yeah,
in the upper parts of Sundari, right, the main
yeah.
capital. Yeah.
So it's going to be. I think this is going. This is a bar has been set on things going forward. So it'll be fun to see how it works out. Dave Filoni said one thing very uh, interesting that I found interesting in the videos that were posted about the saber battle. Um, he said the Kenobi Maul fight that they did in Rebels, it was short, it was sweet, because that's how they wanted it. Two masters of their skill fighting it out. Whereas in this one, he said he wanted it long, he wanted it drawn out. It needed to be done that way. And I can understand if I could definitely understand if this would have been a short fight like the one between Maul and Kenobi, I probably would have been disappointed.
Oh, no question. No question. Yeah. Um, yeah, you have Maul older there in Rebels in that episode of Twin Sons, and Obi-Wan too. Just both of them so beyond belief knowledgeable in lightsaber skills and different techniques that I obviously I wanted that to go a little bit longer as well, but I understand what Dave Filoni was trying to do there. But this two-part lightsaber battle is just staggeringly cool. Um, I will say this in the uh, show notes. I think is it me the last one or the one before. I was curious to see, how much they would follow the Ahsoka novel. Now it's interesting that they capture him. The Mandalorians have their rope. Oh God, how did they shoot those ropes out of their gauntlets, right?
Yeah,
And then Rex fires the blue circle, the
the
stun,
stun.
right? And it's interesting because in the Ahsoka novel, Ahsoka is trying to get Maul to come at her, and the way he's captured there is within a ray shield. But here they do it up in those upper rafters at the end of this episode. So a little bit different than the Ahsoka novel.
Which begs me to ask the question: if they knew this, well, they probably didn't know it when it was being written, but why not have told the story instead of having the two versions out there?
Right, right. Yeah, captured in a ray shield because you do hear Obi-Wan say, in the last episode he says, and oh, one more thing, Ahsoka, best to I've killed him once before. It's best to capture him, and
Yeah,
and right then I thought that that would happen. And of course, I've texted with you about the other significant difference. Now, it is interesting. They did talk to Keith Kellogg in the Clone Wars download for this about the changing of the colors and even the question that came in um, is answered by Dave Filoni and why Anakin changes the colors because in the Ahsoka novel, um, she does get them back from Anakin, but they're green, not blue like this.
yeah.
And so then she sets them down, and that's also in the Ahsoka novel. Again, this is 2016. This is 4 years ago. There's no spoilers here. Um, and so she leaves her lightsabers there, and then of course she gets new ones throughout the course of the novel, and you learn how she has the crystals. It talks more about the crystals bleeding red or bleeding clear, and so she goes with that light color. But those are two big differences there. Maul is not captured in a ray shield, and in the novel, when Maul's coming at her, her sabers are green. So I'm not sure. I mean, like I said, if you listen to the Clone Wars download, Dave Filoni talks about wanting to Anakin to change them to blue, and all the different meanings behind it. One, it's a Padawan mentor relationship. It's another one of Anakin and him tweaking things and always wanting to play around with things, and that he was thinking about her even when she was gone. But even Dave Filoni said it was a sign of like controlling, changing the colors to blue, more of a control kind of issue. But I guess like anything, the creatives can do what they want. One of the things that I think about when they do it like this is when I see people criticize the Lucasfilm story group. And I guess people can criticize whatever they want. I don't know. Do I think that Dave Filoni knows that her lightsabers were green in the Ahsoka novel? Yeah, I do. Because I think E.K. Johnson had talking to Dave Filoni and some of Lucasfilm story group, and they said, "Look, here's what you can do. We'll let you go up to here," because I think they knew maybe at some point they would be able to animate these and make these. So, do I think Dave Filoni knows they were green? Yes. Do I think Dave Filoni knows Maul gets caught in a ray shield? Yeah. I think he wanted to spruce it up, because the way that Maul is captured, with the gunships hanging up there and two Mandalorians firing ropes around him, and then Rex, shooting him with a stun, that's really cool. So I'll go with it. But I just, my side comment, they just open themselves up to more criticism that, I don't know. I just don't want it. I mean, I like those people, and I want them to do well, and the Lucasfilm Story Group is doing just fine. But I've seen people criticize this, so anyways, I'm still going to enjoy the episodes.
Oh, absolutely. And people are always going to be critical. There's always going to be your critics out there who are always going to have something to say, and they're going to nitpick everything just to be that way. And, there's a fine line between nitpicking and enjoying and pointing out, questions like this, because that's something I would love to know, is why the difference, what their thoughts process was in that. And we may never find out. So be it. It'd just be one of the great mysteries in the Star Wars saga. But,
Yeah, I just know Ahsoka gets a whole lot of different color lightsabers. I know that, which is pretty cool.
Oh, absolutely. So great episode. I really, really enjoyed it. Anything else from the episode you wanted to hit on, David?
I don't think so. I'll hit it in my closing thoughts. I know one other thing. Sounded like the drums of war. I don't know if you heard that, Aaron. When Ahsoka and Maul are about to start their lightsaber battle, it sounded very similar to the drums at the start of Episode 3. I really liked hearing that. But yeah, I feel pretty good about what we've covered. I thought we've done a good job.
Yeah, very good. And I'm glad you brought that up. Because that's one thing we haven't talked a lot about in last episode and even this episode is the music for the arc. Kevin Kiner's really been hitting it out of the park. He has composed some fabulous music. He has incorporated classic Williams content, spliced it up with new stuff. He has made some incredible music, which not only makes you feel what's going on, but it really churns your emotions. So I'm kind of scared what he's going to do in the next two episodes, to be perfectly honest. But he has done. We got to give credit where credit's due. He has done an incredible job composing the music for these episodes.
Well, and to tell you, and I've said this in a couple previous episodes, you have always done a better job at listening to all those musical cues and stuff like that. Watching, it's not hard to watch these episodes multiple times. I told you I was going to make an effort to listen for that, and I have in the last one, Old Friends Not Forgotten, and in this episode, I really am listening to Kiner take the classic Star Wars music that I've heard John Williams, play, make, create for years and years and years, and then just these little subtle twists. So I've really been listening in. and really appreciate